We give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rekwak Kodash, double honors to the apostles that were well. Salutations to the brothers in the four corners of earth, pushing this truth in what? In sincerity. All right, we're hitting you with another video. I just happened to bump into this article, man, and it really caught my attention. It really caught my attention. If your brothers listen to me, which is Brother Bakar and Brother Ip, we are so big into health, just as the apostles, right? But the name of this article is Terror Threatened Access to Healthy Diets as Grocery Prices Soar. Now, healthy food are soaring. Yeah, and I believe this is done by design by these elites. So, because a lot of brothers and sisters are waking up to the danger of ultra processed food, and not only brothers and sisters, but Americans is waking up to the danger of ultra processed food, which is has a lot of chemicals in it, and it's carcinogen, and a lot of people get sick, right, off a processed food. Now, going to this article, I'm not going to go too deep in it, but we're going to read some bullets, right? Once again, the name of this video is Terror Threatening Access to Healthy Diets as Grocery Prices Soar, right? Number one bullet, Trump 10% tariff on imports are driving up food costs, particularly for staples like avocados, berries, nuts. Economics warned that the higher tariff, 25%, could make healthy produce unaffordable for many families. Wow, okay. Number two, importers are passing tariff costs directly to consumers, hurting low-income households. Mexican avocados, 96% of U.S. imports could spike by 10 to 20%, pricing them out for some. And that's one of my diets there, man. That's the main thing I eat is avocados, which has good monosaturated fat. Right, it's good for your heart. Right. Number three, agriculture sectors face higher wages due to immigration crackdowns, leading to worker shortage and potential crop losses. Domestic produce price may rise by 15 to 20%. Yeah, that's not a lot of workers. Well, y'all imported them. What y'all expect? The jobs that American wasn't doing, the immigrants was doing it. But y'all kicked them out. Right? Once again, this is all done by design. Right? Tariff undermine heart-healthy diets, worsen obesity and diabetes. Right? Like my wife, her cousin, they found her face down. I believe it's in the living room. Her brother, they bust through the door, and she was caught face down on the floor, dead. Right? And she had a major obesity problem and diabetes. Right? Food deserts expand as fresh foods become costlier, right? Pushing reliance or processed alternatives, right? Let me get straight to this right here. It said, this is a good article. All right, President Donald Trump on controversial tariff have sparked warnings from economics and health experts alike, as a 10% tax on all imports, that's crazy, plus looming higher levies, right? I think trading should be free on both sides, right? But was that free trading? Right, that's how it's supposed to be, but threatening to transform affordable produce into luxury items. The administration reciprocal tariff announced in April have destabilized global supply chains with ripple effects now hitting Americans' household, while the tariff on major trading partners were temporarily paused. The 10% baseline remained in place, ensuring grocery bills will keep climbing. Experts argue the policy could exuberate existing health disparities as healthy food like avocados, berries, and leafy greens become unaffordable for millions, right? And and these major companies, right, like Nestle, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Unilever, Mendelez, right, Tyson Foods, Kraft, Heinz, and and a plethora of these conglomerate companies, you know, they in cahoots with the government, right? They tell and say, yo, guess what? The prices, we're not making that revenue. We're making not making that profit like we once were. Americans is waking up to eating good, natural, wholesome foods. So what can we do about this? So the president is the head of this corporation, which is called America, right? President is the CEO of all this big corporation called America, right? They all in cahoots. Yeah, we got some.
Yeah, I want to read this definition first before I read the scripture. Just the word medicine. Medicine in its simplest form is both the science of preventing, diagnosing, and treating diseases and injury. All right, so the main thing I like what it says right there, preventing disease, right? So you go to Sirach 38:4. It says the Lord.
I had it on deck, but that's a spirit. That's a spirit.
The Lord had created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. So when you hear medicines, you're probably thinking echinacea, garlic, which of course, yes, take echinacea, take garlic. It's also about the foods that you're consuming on a daily basis. Now, Abba mentioned ultra-processed foods. We don't eat those foods, or we try to stay away from as much as we can because those are things that are made in the lab. They're not foods that's grown out of the ground or foods that were born, like lamb or cow.
That's right.
You know, which has one ingredient. Eat potato is one ingredient. Sweet potato, rice, beans, lentils is one ingredient. So when you eat foods like this, especially getting high fiber like lentils and vegetables, you know, it's going to prevent, it's medicine really because it's going to prevent diseases in the long run. You're not going to get high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and, you know,
and
anything hereditary.
Yeah, that's right. To sustain these bodies, you need what? A wholesome diet, right? Which is going back to the natural state of how Yahweh created it.
Right.
Yeah, you can't go outside. Yo, give me two Doritos from that Dorito tree. No. Give me 12 dozens of Oreos from the Oreo tree. Nah, you know that was created in a damn lab. You know, and that was a good point that you made. It. What are ultra processed foods? Think of ultra processed food like Frankenstein monster, changed by science until they're almost unrecognizable from their original form. Ultra processed foods, sometimes called highly processed food, are foods that have been altered to include fat, starches, sugar, salt, and hydrogenated oils, right? Extracted from other foods. They're a patchwork of ingredients, additives, and preservatives. All of these additions and add taste and flavor, which makes you want to keep coming back for more, right? They also make ultra processed food shelf stable, so it give that long shelf life, right? And most of them, these foods are in the middle aisle of the supermarket, right? Which means they last longer in your pantry before expiring or going bad, right? You know, they did I think, what was that, Supersize Me? You know, that white boy died that did that experiment, but a burger and the fries, I think they left it there for what, months, and it still looked the same. Yeah. Still looked the same.
No, actually, I just saw like a grandma. She kept McDonald's in like a shoe box for 20 years.
Yeah, that one too. Recent, right? Yeah.
20 years, and it's still.
That's crazy.
Obviously, you could tell it's aged, but it wasn't aged to the point where like if you get, you know, a beef patty from, you know, like what you get, Angus.
Yes.
One that's decent.
Yep.
Like if you get that and cook it, that's gonna spoil within a week. You know, you eat it out, but McDonald's, their food has the fountain of youth, but it's the food that lives forever, not you that if you eat it.
That's right. That's right.
You die quicker if you eat their food that
lives
right.
Long. Because, you know, your system can't digest that food properly, right? And it has so much chemicals it has a lot of side effect. Like Chick-fil-A, they just made an announcement. They reduced some of the chemical and they're trying to make more, put natural ingredients in a Chick-fil-A because a lot of people get hip to it. There's over 44 ingredients in the Chick-fil-A burger. It's too much. So people is calling them out. You think that line is wrapped around because it's a good natural Chick-fil-A burger? Nah, because there's chemicals in there. People are really addicted to drugs, right? How can you get mad at a crackhead or a dope fiend when you are addicted to drugs yourself through these processed food? You ain't no different from a crackhead. I mean, crackhead's in the worst state, of course.
Yeah,
Don't get me that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
principle.
That's right. But y'all have something in common with a crackhead. He's addicted to drugs, and you addicted to drugs,
right?
Because you can't let go of the processed food. You can't let it go, right? And minimal, right? Processed food is worth reiterating. A food isn't automatically bad for you just because it's processed in some way, which is true, right? Because they got whole grains, which some of them have natural ingredients, canned tuna, roasted nuts, right? It take a process to put that in a packet. Some have sea salt, right, and some have peanut oil, which is good. That's a minimal processed food. But an ultra processed food, ultra processed food take a few steps further. Instead of just adding vitamins and minerals, these products also include added ingredients and significantly change the makeup of the original food, right? For instance, a Dorito. Dorito is a triangle. It takes a process to make it like that and taste like that. Right, ultra processed foods are foods that have not only been processed but have also had other substance like salt, sugar, fat, preservatives, and food dyes. Right, I think they recently just came out and said they banned a couple of food dyes. Right, added to them for flavor and to make them shelf stable.
And,
go ahead.
I was gonna say Red 40 is linked to ADHD, and Red 40 is mostly made from petroleum. So you're telling me that every time you drink a Gatorade, you put in petroleum in your body? It's crazy. That's why these kids got autism, ADHD, because the mom's not eating correctly. The mom, first of all, she's probably smoking cigarettes. If not that, she's not eating right. She's eating fast foods. So what you think that's going to happen to the babies? Anything that the mom eats, the baby's going to absorb. So the baby's gonna come out with some problems.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but that's the case. That's the case.
Yeah. Just like fucking Fruity Pebbles has what, Red 40. That has all different types of dyes.
Yeah.
What's that? What's another Fruit Loops. That has Red 40. It has Red 40. But when you taste the Fruit Loops in Europe, I saw a video on it. They don't have Red 40. They have powderized beetroots to give them that color of the cereal. That's crazy. That's crazy. Why they can't do the same thing here? Because what? The FDA and the government are in cahoots. The FDA, the government, and the medical association is in cahoots to take out Americans, right? Because they don't. You got to realize the medical association don't get paid to cure you. They get paid to treat you, right? And I'm gonna give you an example of ultra processed foods, right? Chicken nuggets, frozen meals, hot dogs, right? It depends what hot dogs you go for. They got organic hot dogs, right?
Turkey ones too.
They got organic hot dogs that don't have what's that? Sodium nitrate, right?
Right.
Yep. Right. Packaged soups, potato chips, soft drinks, and sweetened breakfast cereal, as we had discussed earlier.
Yeah, you gotta stay away from this cup noodle soup because
oodles and noodles.
The scientists said that cup noodles are highly linked to heart disease, right? It's just too much sodium in it.
That's right.
Salt is good for you, but the amount of sodium in those cup noodles is crazy. And a lot of high schoolers and college students eat it because of how cheap it is. But what a lot of people don't realize that you can technically eat cheap. You can eat healthy for cheap.
There's ways around it. You sure can.
When there's a will, there's a way. That's right. The excuse. Oh, I don't got a lot of money. I got to get it how I can. Get what I can get with the money I have. But there is ways you can eat at least decent.
Yeah.
With a small budget. Like if you want high protein, there's tuna. Eggs a little more expensive now, but it's still part of that option. Chicken thighs. You know, you get for high protein. If you need vegetables and you can't get it fresh, frozen vegetables, they're still, you know, healthy compared to you eating McDonald's and cup noodles every day.
That's
know?
right.
There's
That's
ways
right.
around it.
There's ways around it for real. Just like was a Hippocrates, right? He was a ancient Greek physician. I believe he was an Israelite, but you know when you see the pics, right, they got him as a white man. But he was around 460 to 370 BC, who is often referred to as the father of medicine. And he the one that said, "Let that food be thy medicine," right? Let that food be thy medicine. And from 460, who was it was Augustus and Octavian was ruling at that time. Then from 460 to 370, they had about 77 emperors ruling at that time. All right. So, but the point is, let that food be that medicine. You read Psalms 104, verse 3 yet? No, you didn't read that. You read something else. Psalms 104.
I only read Sirach 38.
Oh, yeah, con. Verse 14, sorry. Psalms 104, verse 14. And the reason I feel like he's an Israelite, because let that food be that medicine, that's from what Psalms 104, verse 14. Yeah. Right? And when you read Jeremiah 10, verse 16, it said, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. And that's how I feel strongly that Hippocrates, he's an Israelite, right? He's an Israelite. He was an intelligent dude, right? So, you know, doing iconoclasm, you know, was that Renaissance, which means new birth. They, you know, they whitewash and painted over these pictures, right?
I think the guy that taught Alexander the Greek was an Israelite. I forgot what his name was. He was a philosopher.
I know it was Socrates. All right.
Some of them were Edomites though, because Scripture does say Esau's wiser than Daniel. So
yeah, it could be a Plato, Socrates.
Yeah, Aristotle.
Right. Aristotle, Galen.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you got?
Yeah. Psalms 104 and 14. He calls it the
Excuse me. Even though they maybe sprinkled them was Israelite, but I know they learned from Jake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, because Timbuktu that tells us how that we were like astrologers, what's the word, mathematician.
Yeah.
Probably saying it wrong. We were historians. The Timbuktu it says that, so we most likely gave him that knowledge.
Yeah, just like they got doctors like Dr. Gundry, they got Dr. Fung, right? Dr. Fung, like, yo, the way he talk, he swear he came up with fast, and fast is all over in the scriptures.
Yeah.
You didn't come with that shit.
But Asians fast. Was going on for centuries. They find that stuff and make it seem like, you know, they came up with it.
Yeah, but I'm happy they bringing it out. They amplifying it to the people that fasting is very beneficial. That fasting is a caloric deficit that you don't have to eat throughout the whole 24 hours. So I'm glad they bringing that out. Yeah, go ahead.
Psalms 104 and 14. He causes the grass to grow for the cattle and earth for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth.
That's right. So that backs up where Hippocrates, a philosopher, said, let that food be that medicine, right? Because there's a lot of healing components in avocados, berries, right? Berries has phyllinol, right? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Polynol, which is good for your heart. It's good for your blood, right? It's good for circulation, right? Ginger is also good. I forgot the component there, but what ginger does, it removes all blood clots from your body. So as garlic, right? Garlic has allicin in it, right? That component removes all blood clots from your body.
Ginger is very good for digestion. I don't know.
Oh yeah, of course. It cures IBS, right? What's that? Cayenne. Oh, cayenne's boss, right? If you see somebody that's catching a heart attack in front of you, you put cayenne powder under the tongue, and it stops immediately. right? And cayenne has capsaicin, right? Which is the chemicals. The chemical is hot, but it increased blood flow throughout the whole body from head to toe, right? Yeah, so let that food be that medicine, right? That he may bring forth food out of the earth, right? All praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. It read, what's that? Sirach 38, verse 4. I'm going to read the RS version. I think you read the KJV. The RS version, Revised Standard Version. The Lord created medicine from the earth, and a sensible man would not despise them. So a sensible men would not despise them. But if you don't have no sense, you're going to despise them, right? You're going to continue to eat the Oreos and a bag of Doritos and Fritos. You can continue eating that, right? Like I was telling wifey, I said, how can somebody walk around with a big ass belly? You know, I was one of those guys. I was damn near 290. You know, that's an uncomfortable feeling. You can't walk up a flight of stairs with breathing hard and shit. That's uncomfortable. Just you breathing hard like that on a small flight of stairs, that's your body telling you that you need to exercise a little bit more. You know?
Cardio.
Mm-hmm.
Cardio.
Yeah. Yeah. And it don't take that much, but what? Walking around your neighborhood. Yeah.
Jog at least, if want to up it or
yes.
go faster.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes a walk. Like you feel better when you walk more.
Oh yeah.
We did so much walking in the ancient times. We probably have to do walk everywhere. We probably did more walking than running because running you're gonna burn out faster. When you walk long distances, you're gonna take you longer to get there, but you're pacing yourself. So we probably did a lot of walking in the ancient.
Facts. And walking is highly beneficial to that body. Maybe we might do a separate video just on walk how beneficial walking is. Right. NIV version it Proverbs 23. We almost done. All right. Proverbs 23 NIV 1 through 3. Then we're gonna jump to 6. Yeah, we're gonna jump to 6 to 8. Then we'll be finished.
Proverbs 23 verse 1 to 3. You sit to dine with a ruler. Know well what is before you.
That's right. Know well what is before you. What's the ingredient in this burger that you advertising on TV, right? Billboards, radio. What's before you? You know what I'm saying? Do your investigation, right? Because most likely that ruler is a damn demon. The head of McDonald's, head of a Burger King, but they in this business for profit. They don't care about your well-being, right? Go ahead.
And put a knife to your throat if you are given to gluttony.
Yeah, and put a knife to your throat if you're given to gluttony. Take yourself out, man. Take yourself out. And, right, it said when you sit to dine with the ruler, note well what is before you, right? He's there to promote his product, right? Look at the label. Read the label. What this cookie, what this bread, what this contain. Read it before you put it in your mouth. We know what the mindset of our people is that, oh, it tastes good. I'm going to put it in my mouth. You know?
Right.
Go ahead.
Do not crave his delicacies, for that food is deceptive.
Yeah, that food is deceptive. You know? They especially on these, what's that? Subway. Oh, eat fresh. Eat fresh. But that bread contains, I forgot the name.
Fresh supply.
Damn, I forgot the name of that word, what it contains. Right? What the chemical what that bread contains, it's the same as your workout mat. It's the same as what's in your Croc slippers. Right? So people have been eating this for a plethora of years, right?
Azo, the carba, you be able to read.
You probably just do your
the one that's bold in white bold. Azo.
Oh, Azo, the carbonamide, right? Azo carbonamide, right? That's what it contains, and that's the same ingredient your workout mat, your Crocs, right? the bottom of your sole of your sneakers, right? Goodyear tires. That's the same chemical that you've been putting in your body for years. So eat fresh. Get the fuck out of here.
Yoga mats too.
Yeah, there we go.
Azodicarbonamide.
Yep. Yep. See? Yeah. So you gotta do research of what you put in your mouth. Go ahead, Ed. We're almost done. Oh, you at 3? Or you read that already?
I read 3.
Okay. Yeah. For the food is deceptive.
Yep.
Woo.
6 to 8.
Yeah, 6 to 8.
Do not eat the food of
begrudging
hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Do not crave his delicacies.
Yep.
For he is a con person who is always thinking about the cause.
Always thinking about the cause. Go ahead.
Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you.
Yeah.
You will vomit up the little you have eaten, but have wasted your compliments.
Yeah, wasted your compliment. And yep. So, in other words, not literally that you're going to vomit what you have eaten, but you're going to stop eating it. You're going to stop eating that food because you're going to start doing research. You're like, yo, I ain't eating no fucking McDonald's no more. I ain't no Burger King no more. Yeah, I'm not eating this greasy ass chicken no more. You know what I'm saying? But, everything in moderation. You know what I'm saying? Everything in moderation. So, as the Bach always say, you got to eat the best out the worst, and which is true. And which is true.
I got a scripture.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll end it with that.
Oh, yeah, Genesis 1:29. Yahweh said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed.
There we go.
So it shall be for me.
It shall be for me. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is all set up by the food conglomerates, working with Donald Trump, the orange man. You know what I'm saying? They profits is falling tremendously. They said, how the hell can we get these profits back up? How the hell can we get these profits back up? Hey, let's do a tax. Let's tax these other. Let's tax Mexico. Let's tax China, and so on. So guess what? The food. Since these prices is going high, it's going to pass the consumer. So the consumer going to be like, damn, man, you know what? I'm hungry. Yo, get those 5 boxes of what's that? Macaroni cheese, Kraft macaroni cheese, man. Let's do a quick meal because we can't afford vegetables no more. Or hamburger helper, right? What's that? Frozen dinners, right? Oh man, give me that. What's that? $2 burger at McDonald's. Yeah, that's what it is. This is all done by design by the elites, man. But Yahweh's going to intervene. But the scripture said, what? We're going to eat defiled breads among the heathens. Even some of the natural foods that you think you're eating, some of that might be contaminated. So, as Brother Zabak said years ago, eat the best out the worst, man. Right? And brothers and sisters, you got to exercise. You got to exercise. If you're trying to lose weight, go to a caloric deficit and stop eating at 4 or 5. It depends on your work schedule, how your work schedule is. You can't be eating late at night with all that food in your chest. That shit ain't good, right? Cut out them carbs, cut out them sugars, you know what I'm saying? They got good carbs, like sweet potato, right? Even broccoli have carbs in it, a certain amount of carbs in it. But that ultra-processed food, eliminate that shit, man. You're going to feel much better in a week, right? So we give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rekwar Kodash. Right? See your brothers in the next video. Baba La Babylon.
Shalom.
Shalom.